Hi, it's me. I'm back. I promised that I would try to make more videos, and I think that's going to be one of my resolutions for 2024. It's almost the end of 2023. We only have a few more days left, so I figured let me do a year in a review and discuss some of the goals I have in mind or have set for myself for next year. First of all, the reason why I haven't been making that many videos here is because I really got into TikTok because I like to pretend I'm a child. Even though I'm 37, I like to pretend I'm one of the young kids. And TikTok is just easier to edit than YouTube. But I do still love the YouTube format and being able to make longer videos and talk about specific stuff. I don't have to be rushing with the editing. But yeah, so because of that, a lot of times when I want to make a TikTok, when you have the phone, I hold it like this way instead of this way. And when you hold it this way, it's better to make YouTube videos because you have that dimension versus the TikTok way. So I'd have to go and record things twice, which just feels so unnatural for me. I'm not an influencer. I create content, but I'm not a content creator. This is just a hobby. So that's why I don't make as many videos as I've done in the past. But I'm going to try my best to make more because I have topics that I can discuss. So yeah, just going to say that. Sorry I didn't make that many videos for 2023. But I'm trying to, one of my goals for this year is to make more for 2024 because so many things are going to happen next year, fingers crossed. So let's get into the goals. Number one, make more YouTube videos and I guess you TikTok videos too because that's also a fun format. Another goal I have is to, let me check here. Oh, buy a car. I have a list of the things I want to do. So if you see me look down, I'm trying to go over that. I want to buy a car. Riding a TTC is very convenient and environmentally friendly. It's much cheaper than owning a car. I talked about how I got my license last year, in 2022, and what a struggle that was, and how I really am not confident as a driver. But I really need to get a car because I don't want to have to depend on the TTC all the time because I hate the TTC. I'm tired of riding with, can I say this word, crackheads? People on drugs? Crazy people? Not crazy, but people who will stab you if given a chance. I think I'd only use it to get to work because it's most convenient to get to work. 30 minutes or less to get to work on the TTC. But otherwise, I'd prefer to just have the convenience of a car. So that's one of my goals for this year is to get a car, buy a car. I have to save for it. I'm not the type who likes to make big purchases, so that would be really outside of my comfort zone. But that's what I'm gonna try. Goal number 2 is to buy a car. All right, so goal number 3 is to make it back to Japan. I'm trying really, really, really hard. On top of saving to buy a car, I'm also going to be saving really, really hard to buy that ticket to make it back to Japan. Next year in April, it will be 5 years since I've left Japan. And if you've been watching my channel, you know the whole reason I created a channel was to document my life in Japan. I lived there for 4 years. It was the most amazing experience. I have friends who are family there who I really want to visit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in November 2024, I will make my way back to Japan. I know I'm going to burst into tears because I miss Japan so much. It's all I ever talk about with anyone. So that's one of my goals, to make it back to my beloved Japan. So another one of my goals, I'm going to travel as much as I can next year. I actually saved up some of my vacation days. I have 6 days left, I think. So I'm going to squeeze in as many trips as possible. I already have my birthday trip planned, which is to go back to Jamaica and go see my family and my friends. So that's booked. But I'm also going to try and go to Japan. And then I also want to try and fit in a New York trip or a Disney World trip. Not sure how I'm going to do it, but I want to sneak it in. It depends on the finances if I save very well this year because I also want to maintain zero debt, which I've been doing for the past, I guess, 5, 6 years, 7 years. Yeah, I've had zero debt. I want to keep it that way. Knock on wood. Hopefully I can. But I don't want to. I want to enjoy my life, but I also don't want to put myself in debt. So it depends on how much I can save. Maybe I'll get a raise. I keep going like this because I really want to be lucky enough this year to do those kind of things. So yeah, hopefully I can fit in as many trips as possible, including the big Japan trip. So there's one more thing that I'd like to do, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet. I'm in the process of trying to get it done. If you want to guess what it is, go right ahead. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I will make a video about it when it happens. So when this thing happens, I'll be very happy. But that's the last goal I have for next year, is to complete that process. So yeah, fingers crossed that happens too. So those are my goals for 2024. On top of that, also meeting the love of my life, falling in love, having a child. I don't know how that one's gonna go, but the realistic goals, those are the ones I've mentioned before. Now I also just want to recap 2023, because 2023 was a huge year for me. I actually did a lot. I didn't post about it, but a lot happened. Like, the beginning of the year was kind of quiet, and then I did that big trip to England for the coronation, and to, live out the dream of visiting England, a country I've been obsessed with since forever. That was an amazing accomplishment. That made me so happy. That was one of the best things that happened in 2023. I'll show clips, but I did a whole series of videos about it, and that made me want to travel even more now. And I feel like I enjoy going home once a year, but I've got to go to other places too, because that trip was everything. It was amazing. And that was in May. In July, I didn't mention it, but I actually went on a trip to Washington, D.C. My cousin moved there earlier this year. And I figured it's my birthday, let me just do a birthday trip. And so I went back to D.C. for, I think, the third time. And it was so amazing. It was a little too hot. That kind of ruined the trip for me a little. But it was amazing. And I got to spend time with my cousin, who's like one of my best friends. So I really enjoyed that trip. Then in August, I had surgery again, which I'll mention in another video, because I have a video plan about the healthcare system in Canada and how much I like it, even though a lot of other people don't. So I'll talk about that surgery more. But it wasn't major surgery. It was related to my fibroids, which I've mentioned on my channel before. And that was a very successful surgery. It went well. So I can't wait to talk more about that in a different video. But I had surgery in August, and then a couple weeks later, my parents came to visit. My mommy and daddy came to visit Canada, and it was the happiest I've been in a long time, because the planning for it, the visa process, luckily my mommy had a Canadian visa from a trip she did a couple years ago, so I didn't have to apply for a visa for her. But for daddy, I had to go through that whole hassle of applying for a visa. And the worst part about that is the Canadian government gives you a visa most times for the period of your passport. So if you get the visa when you just got a new passport, it's good for 10 years. Their passports are expiring next year. So if I want them to come and visit again, I have to go through the whole thing again. But it was worth it, because they had an amazing time. I'm just gonna put some clips of them, pictures of my mommy and daddy. I took them to the CNE Air Show. I took them to Toronto Islands. We went to Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls for the first time, and it was so amazing going with my mommy and daddy. We had an amazing time. They almost drove me crazy getting them around and keeping them safe and making sure they were healthy and had a good trip. But it was so much fun. I love my parents so much. I cannot live without them. And showing them around Canada, showing them my life, showing them where I worked. I showed them the building where I worked. we went downtown. And my mommy, she actually graduated from Ryerson in the 70s. So she's the OG Toronto girly. I'm the new Toronto girly. She's the OG. So showing her around, or her showing me around her old stomping grounds it was an amazing experience. So I really, really, really enjoyed that part of this year. And I hope I can bring them back again. Hopefully for World Cup 2026. They'll be back for that for sure. And then to round out the year, I got COVID again. Actually, this is super recent. When was it? Like last week or 2 weeks ago? A week ago, I got COVID for the second time. The first time I got it last year after going to the weekend concert, it took me out. It was horrible. Second time around, again, it took me out. It was horrible. But you know, I survived. So COVID is still going around. It's kind of like the flu now. Everyone's had it. So that was fun. But I ended the year pretty much doing nothing, just preparing for the next year. So that's it. That's the goals I've set for 2024. And those were some of the things that I did in 2023 that were just amazing. And I can't wait. I can't wait to have another great year. Hopefully everyone survived. Everyone is healthy and happy in my life. And I am doing very, very well. Knock on wood. That doesn't change. Next video will probably be in the next year. So happy new year to everyone. And I wish you all the best.